what is the order and what exactly it is going to happen. That is what I am about to explain. During this explanation, there are four number of ways, not a number. There are four different ways where we create a Spring Boot project. The first one is how we can create a project using Spring. The same way we are going to create a project in Spring Boot also. I mean, we can create a Spring Boot project in the way how I create a Spring project. But everything I need to write manually. Lot of things I need to write manually. What I need to write manually, what lot of things I need to take care manually, that I am going to explain during my hands-on, during my today's class. Okay. And 2, 3, 4 are automated. 2, 3, 4 are automated. Understand, right? Just like previously, what happens here? Whenever I want to switch off a TV, switch on the TV, I need to go to the TV. Then I need to go to the button that is the Spring. That is the first approach. Understand, right? So I need to manually go to the TV. I need to make power on or I need to make power off. That's the first option. Second option is where I need to go to Spring initializer 2, 3, or where we have a remote. I no need to go to the TV. Through remote, I can control, right? There's a 2, 3 is the remote control. Now, fourth one is what? Alexa. In 2, 3, I need to search for a remote, right? In 2, 3, I need to search for a remote. But I no need to search for a remote. Alexa, my TV power off. Alexa, my light on and off, right? That's the fourth one, completely automated. But whatever it may be, whether you do in 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, in n number of ways, in any of way, in the background, it is going to happen same. So what I'm trying to showcase is how we can create a Spring Boot project using different approaches. The first approach is using a normal approach. The prerequisites is by default, we need to install latest Eclipse, whatever the URL which I mentioned, and we need to install minimum is Java 8, and we need to install Maven. I clearly explained in my previous classes on the configuration, how to install on those things. Okay. Already it is available in the YouTube, and our admin shared all the YouTube details to everyone. If anyone didn't get YouTube links, please get in touch with admin. He is going to provide the details to you. Please get in touch with the admin. Mr. Admin, I didn't attend that particular session. Can you provide me YouTube sessions? You can get every YouTube session. Okay. Please get in touch with admin to get a YouTube sessions, and he is going to provide you in the chat window also. He is going to provide you in the chat window also. Right. Now, what we have done is we created a Maven project. How we created in a Maven project is nothing but by default, we went with, 1 second, let me go with. I'm just opening the PPT. So what we have done is we went to file, new Maven project. I checked the checkbox of create a simple project. I checked the checkbox which are highlighted in the illustrator. Then I have given a group ID, artifact ID. In a Maven terminology, group ID is nothing but package name, and artifact ID is the project name. That is what we have given, and we finished it. Okay. By default, you should get this particular package structure. This is a package structure. You need to get it. Okay. Somehow my Zoom is not working. Why? I need to see here. Zoom it. Yeah, I don't know. Right, fine. Now we are going to get a particular folder structure, guys. Completely we are getting a folder structure. Yes, this is a folder structure where we need to have src main Java, src main resources, src test Java, src test resources, maven class path. By default, these 5 folders should come. Okay, first you will get 4 folders only. After you write something in pom.xml, you will get 5th folder. Okay, I will give a clear description of what exactly it is all these particular folders having. Okay, so this is what so far I explained in my previous class. Today I want to go from here. Okay, as of now, anyone has any technical questions? Any technical questions? Kindly raise your hands. Anyone has any technical questions, guys? So already admin shared all the YouTube links, guys. Okay, please take it. All the 5 classes YouTube links admin is shared already. All 5 classes YouTube links he has already shared it. Okay, you can go through that if you miss anything. As of now, anyone has any technical questions, kindly raise your hand. Okay, Harish. Harish, go ahead, unmute and you can speak. Please don't waste the time, guys. Harish, I have given option to speak. Otherwise, don't raise a hand. Okay. Guys, please make sure that whenever you are raising a hand, don't waste the time here. Imam,
Can you please explain about pom.xml file?
I have not started actually.
Okay.
I have not started actually, right? Yes. If I start pom.xml, I should explain. Okay. I have not started at all. Right? Yes. Yes. Now by default, we are going to see the folder structure: src main Java, src main resources, src test Java, src test resources. By default, these are the default folders which is coming from in a maven configuration, where in src main Java folder, we need to write business logic, our entire Java business logic code. Whatever the Java code, we are going to write, our entire business logic will be available in src main Java only. Sir, whatever I'm teaching is not at all related to Spring Boot. This is a Maven project which is in Spring. I sincerely recommended, though you don't know anything Spring, I recommended you to join. Okay, that's why I am explaining from the basics. Right? Yes. src main Java is a folder where we are going to write our entire Java code, our entire Java business logic into this particular folder. And src main resources is mainly for configuration file. What do you mean by configuration file? Property file. Like which database you are connecting, where is the database exists, what is the username of the database, what is the password of the database, what is the schema you are connecting, what is the port number you are running. Like all these are configuration details, property file that you are going to write inside src main resources folder. Okay, src main Java for writing business logic code, Java code. src main resources is having mainly with respect to configuration guide or like property file or any database connection, like that src main resources. Next, src test Java, that is for purely if at all if you want to write unit testing. Generally developer responsibility to unit testing also, right? So all unit testing code related to our Spring Boot, that we will write in src test Java, which is only unit testing code, which is using unit testing. Whatever the code I write in src main Java to test that code, I will write src test Java. That is unit testable code. And src test resources, your test code is also pointing to any database or any configuration. Your test code is also having src test resources. Okay. Important or first two are important, 3-4 optional. It's only for unit testing purpose. So the first folder is we are going to write a business logic. Second folder is we are going to write a configuration. Third folder is test code for unit testing, test code for configuration. 3 and 4. By default, these are the 4 folders we are going to have in Maven. By default, whenever you create a Maven project, these 4 folders will come by default. Also, pom.xml will be there. We have main important file which is called as pom.xml. Rambabu, it's a problem at your end. Mr. Rambabu, there is a problem purely at your end. Everyone is able to see my screen. Everyone is able to hear me. Okay. Kindly disconnect and log in again. Right. So by default, pom.xml is a screen, is a file which is a heart of a Maven. Pom.xml is a heart of a Maven file. Okay. So what we are going to write in pom.xml is, I already told Maven is mainly useful for downloading our jars. Pom.xml is mainly I am writing. Automatically it is going to download the jars. How it is going to download the jars, I'm going to explain. You need to write information. Please download Spring Boot jars. That instruction I need to mention in pom.xml. Okay. Within pom.xml, I need to write some instructions in the pom.xml, which will download the Spring Boot jars. If you want to work with any framework, you want to work with Spring, you want to work with Spring Boot, you want to work with the web services, if you want to work with struts, if you want to work with Spring MVC, if you want to work with the JMS or any framework you take, all jars are available in Maven repository. It is going to download from Maven repository and it is going to keep in your local class path. You no need to worry about that and you need to do it. Okay. So that information you are going to write in pom.xml. Sir, let me repeat, sir. Once again, I'm going to repeat here entire stuff. Okay. By default, whenever you create a Maven project, totally there are important sections, sir, which are nothing but src main Java, where we are going to write business logic. Okay. Where we are going to have a business logic, src main Java, and src main resources is for configuration, like which database we are connecting, what is the username, completely configuration or a property file. That is src main resources. Src test Java for writing unit testing code, src test resources for writing configuration for unit testing code, and class path, Maven class path, that is nothing but pom.xml. We are going to write some instruction in the pom.xml, which will download the jars and it will keep the jars in the class path, in your local class path. Okay. So this is the typical introduction of a Maven project. Understand? Yes. Now we want to go further. Okay. What we are going to write here is, by default in the pom.xml, we need to write the following entries. What we need to do here, guys? We need to download Spring Boot jars, right? We need to download Spring Boot jars. For that, we need to write these particular entries where Spring Boot is a parent, okay, which is having lot of modules, lot of features. Under that, I need a feature which will work for Hello World, which I want to display Hello World. Spring Boot is having lot of features. I need a feature where I can display hello world application on the browser. That feature I need. So what I'm going to do here, I am going to write this particular code in the pom.xml, which is equal to parent jar. What is a parent? Spring Boot parent jar I want to download with the dependencies. Dependency is nothing but feature, where web dependency, that is a web application. So what I'm going to write is, which I'm going to showcase here in pom.xml. Let me increase the font, guys. I'll increase the font. Yes, I hope everyone is able to see that. Now we are going to have parent tag. So what is the parent tag? The following section downloads the parent jar, root Spring Boot jar, Spring Boot root jar. Okay, it's a parent jar, which is equal to group ID. It's a package name, artifact ID. Shortcut is control spacebar. You need to type you need to type something, ver and control spacebar. So with that, it is going to have group ID is equal to arg dot spring framework dot boot, arg dot spring framework dot boot. That's the pack group ID. That is not the package name they have taken. Com dot Naresh I did it like that, right? Here they have taken arg dot spring framework dot boot, and artifact ID is nothing but spring boot starter parent. I want a parent jar. Version is 2.1.6. Release. It's any version you can take. As of now, I'm taking this particular version. Okay. I am telling this section which will download the Spring Boot main jar, parent jar. Okay. Now, what I want to hear, the following section downloads Spring Boot web jar. What do you mean by web jar? Which will useful for developing web application. Why we need a web application? Because I want to display hello world in the web application. The following section downloads the Spring Boot web jar. Mr. Shinde, Shivhar Shinde, don't do any things here, please. Shivhar Shinde, don't play anything on the Zoom chat window. Okay, right, please. The following section download the Spring Boot web jar for developing the web application. Okay, where we need to have a dependencies, n number of dependencies we can have, n number of features we can write. First thing is I need a dependency. In the dependency, where again group ID, artifact ID. So arg dot spring framework dot boot and Spring Boot starter parent, we are going to have Spring Boot starter web. So this is going to download the web jar. Web jar is mainly useful for creating web application like dispatcher servlet, internal view resolver, database connection, all those things it will be taken care by web jars. So this is the entries you need to have in the pom.xml, which you need to download the parent jar, as well as you need to download the dependencies jar. Now guys, I have not saved this information, guys. I have not saved this information. Now now here As of now, Maven dependencies folder is not came here. SRC main Java, SRC main resources, SRC test Java, SRC test resources, pom.xml, right? Once I save this information, once I save this information, now you see here, you are going to get Maven dependencies folder. You saw that? Maven dependencies folder, which is going to have all the jars, all Spring Boot jars we are going to have. All these are my Spring Boot jars. Spring Boot starter web, Spring Boot jar, auto configure jar, log4j jar, Jackson jar, Tomcat. You saw Tomcat jar, Tomcat embedded core, Tomcat embedded socket, Hibernate jar, JBoss jar, and Spring jars. All these came automatically, right? Spring Web, Spring Beans, WebMVC, AOP, Context, Expel. All these are my Spring Boot jars which are downloaded. Automatically downloaded. I have not downloaded anything. Okay. So just I wrote these entries, parent tag as well as dependencies tag, which will download all these particular dependencies. Okay. Guys, any questions so far? You can raise a hand, but those who are raising a hand, please don't waste the time. You should have a proper headset. You should speak properly. As of now, any questions in whatever I teach till now, like parent tag as well as dependencies tag? Yes. Con, someone con you mentioned. Again, he unmuted. Okay. Sabyasachi Behura. Go ahead.
So all the parents tag are included inside the, sorry, all the what can I say?
Sorry, I didn't get your question first of all, please.
Just 1 minute. I mean, all the starter tag, like, sorry, I forget tag dependency. Sorry, all the dependency are inside the parent dependency, right?
Yes. Okay. Your question is, this dependencies has also belong to this version. That is what your question?
Yeah.
Yeah, yes. Because whenever you take the parent, the versions are also same, right? All should download in the same version, all right? Yes.
Okay.
Guys, you cannot unmute yourself. You need to raise a hand. I need to give an option. Yes. Nilesh Chauhan. Nilesh
Yeah.
Chauhan.
Yes, sir. Sir, can we download these dependencies from the Google directly?
You can download. After that, again, you need to extract it. Again, you need to go to project. You need to keep a class path. All those things you need to do manual, right? Class path settings. Everyone knows class path setting, right? Core Java, it's a mandatory. Properties, Java build path. In build path, you are going to have libraries. In libraries, you need to manually add this, right?
Yeah.
Now it is framework automatically taken, right? Maven dependencies, it's added in the class path. Yes, you can do that. But framework is doing why you need to do that. That's why it is taken out. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Anyone, any questions so far, guys? Someone asking Ajarul Khan. You need to raise your hand. There is an option to raise a hand. Yes. Go ahead. I unmuted you. Guys, please don't waste the time, guys. You need to speak, guys. I'm not able to hear. Whenever you attend any online class, make sure that you have a valid internet connectivity, valid headset. I'm not able to hear your voice, Khan. I'm keeping you on mute again. Okay. Any other questions, guys, so far? Yes. As of now, anyone has any questions so far? Yes. Right. So By default, everyone is clearly able to hear my voice. Okay. And everyone, this is what it is going to have in a pom.xml, which you download. Okay. For you, for the first time, it will take 5 minutes. Why I wrote this version, right? Already on this version, already jars are there in my system. So it should be done very fast. That's why I've taken this version. For you, it will take 2 to 3 minutes to download all these jars. For me, it's already there. That's why I've taken. So which is equal to pom.xml where you're going to download. Next thing is we are going to create a bootstrap class. Second point is nothing but we need to create a bootstrap class by default. Okay. Guys, 1 second, guys, 1 second, please, 1 second. How is getting from we are not giving any section from where it should be downloaded. It is going to Maven repository. It is downloading. Okay. By default, you have a Maven repository settings and it is going to download. It's a where I can say that inside Maven repository. So where you, if you to go to Google, you'll understand. Maven repository. Okay. From this website, now this is a website, Maven repository. Now, if you see here, if I take SpringBoot, SpringBoot starter, all these things are where it is going to use. So if you click there, by default, these are the jars. You saw that dependency, arg.spring framework. Now this is a section, it will download here like that I have explained here, which is going to download. Okay. Right. Now, next point is we need to create a bootstrap class. What exactly a bootstrap class is? Nothing but it's a starting point of a Spring Boot application. Okay. After we got the jar files into our class path, okay, we need to write a code, right? The first file which I am going to write is bootstrap class. That's the first file which I am going to write. Okay. What is bootstrap class is nothing but a Java file which is the starting point of execution. For example, in this project, I wrote 1000 Java files here. In this project in SRC main Java, I wrote 1000 Java files. Now, which one it should start first? Framework should have a starting point, right? Yes or no? In a bus, driver place is a starting point and all can sit. So in the similar way, Here a starting point is bootstrap class. Okay. We are going to create a Java class that is called as a bootstrap class. The bootstrap class is, it's a starting point. Generally bootstrap. Boot means what? Booting, starting. System is booting, system is starting. Generally we'll tell, right? Boot and strapping, adding starting point. That is called as a bootstrap class. Okay. So we are going to add a bootstrap class, which is a starting point of your Spring Boot application. So how to create a bootstrap class is nothing but generally src main Java. You need to right click. I need to click on class. Why src main Java only? Because as part of Maven, all our code we are going to write inside src main Java only. src right? So I'm going to write in src main Java. So which is equal to our package name is equal to com dot naresh it dot hello world in Spring. That's the project name. Okay. So which is equal to hello world in Spring. That's the class name. Okay. Yes. By default, this is a class. First annotation at the rate of Spring Boot application. Any Java class. Okay. So here, any Java class which is having at the rate of Spring Boot application annotation, any Java class which is having Spring Boot application at the rate of Spring Boot application annotation is called as bootstrap class. Okay. Let me repeat here. Any Java class which is having at the rate of Spring Boot application annotation, that is called as bootstrap class. Okay. Bootstrap means starting point of execution. Every Spring Boot application should have only one bootstrap class. Only one bootstrap class. If you create two classes, it will give error. It should have only one starting point, right? If you have two starting points, framework will confuse, right? Framework is going to confuse. Okay. Right. So by default, every Java class which is having a Spring at the rate of Spring Boot application annotation is called as bootstrap class. Bootstrap means starting point of execution. Every Spring Boot application should have only one bootstrap class. Okay. Sir, what bootstrap will do? The functionality of bootstrap class. Okay. Functionality of bootstrap class is nothing but it is going to create IOC container. It is going to create IOC container. What is IOC container? Inversion of control, which is Spring container, which I call that as a inversion of control or a Spring container. What is the use? All Java classes memory objects. All Java classes memory. All Java classes objects are managed by IOC container. I told, right? Spring is having a good memory management. Okay. Spring is going to have a good memory management and it is going to have an IOC container. So at the rate of Spring Boot application is going to have completely IOC container. Okay, completely it is going to have IOC container. Guys, 1 second, guys, 1 second. I'm sorry, guys. Yes. So by default functionality of a bootstrap classes, it is going to create an IOC container. IOC stands for inversion of control, which is a Spring container. All Java classes objects are managed by the IOC container. Okay. So that is the purpose of a really IOC container. So I don't want to go very fast because we are at a beginning stage. Lot of people may add here. So that's why in the initial few days, I'll take a few hours, it's the partial time only I'm going to take. Once the batch is settles, I'll take exactly 1 hour class. Okay. And lot of people sent the email. I sent couple of reminders, but not able to add in the Hangouts group. I told clearly I added everyone, but somehow that invitations are not going off. And I clearly mentioned that Hangouts group is a temporary group till batch settles. Maybe in a couple of 2-3 days, I will remove that Hangouts group. Okay. The purpose of Hangouts group is just to make sure that if you have any questions, okay, you already have my email ID. If at all, if you're not able to join Hangouts group, you can drop an email to me, guys. Okay. You can drop an email with your questions. I'm going to reply you. Okay. You're not going to achieve anything. You can reply, you can send an email. I'll reply to you. Okay. So maybe I don't know. I've sent almost all everyone in the Hangouts invitation. Almost 167 people are joined. Okay. I'm not sure still anyone is not there in the group also. But if you're not able to join, you drop an email. I'll take care. Any technical questions or anything you have. Anyhow, YouTube links I'm going to share on the daily chat window. The same things are be provided in the YouTube. Links are also provided in the Hangouts group. By default, so this is a Hangouts group where we need to, I'm taking in everyone. Okay. Right. So tomorrow link will change, guys. Today is the last day because somehow I thought of giving some more days just to, you need to see the programming and everything. So that's why tomorrow link will change. Those who paid, those who subscribed to the course, they only will get a link. Other people will not get a link. Okay. So guys, and one more point is, don't ping the link details in the Hangouts group. If someone is asking, I didn't get a Hangout group link, some people are very smart. Okay. I paid the fees, but I didn't get it. And the one who got the link, right? Please don't share any link details in the Hangouts group. Understand? Whoever didn't get, they need to get in touch with admin. They can get it. Or they can send an email to me with the payment screenshot. We'll send the link. Guys, I'm telling you clearly, after you get a link tomorrow, don't send to anyone. Okay. If you send again, it will be strict action will be taken. Please don't send that particular link to anyone. Understand, right? Yes. So far, anyone has any questions, guys? Any other questions? You can raise a hand. I'll take all questions, anything. technical, non-technical, anything you can take the question. Mr. Raj, go ahead.
Good evening, sir.
Go ahead.
So as you showed that while adding the parent tag, so in that you had as you also shown in the Chrome as well, right? So in the Chrome it is showing that it is deprecated. So how can I find that in Chrome? So in Maven repository, so that from there I can copy that code.
What is deprecated? What you are showing in the Chrome? I didn't
So
understand your question actually.
okay, in pom.xml,
Uh-huh.
we add the parent tag, right?
Correct.
So from there you shown that in Maven repository also, right? So how can I add that one? So it is the version is 2.1.6, but in Maven repository the version was it is showing on the top. JBoss it is deprecated. So it is the
By
version is different.
wait. Okay.
Hmm.
As we are at a beginning,
Mhm.
and I'll slowly explain. Okay.
Okay.
First of
Okay.
all, we are not going to write in real time.
Okay.
We are completely framework is automated. That's what I told, right? 2, 3, 4 are automated. We don't know what framework is downloaded, what jars are getting downloaded, what version they have. We don't know.
Okay.
In the first example, we are at a basic stage. I am just telling you, right? If you think or if you are writing like this, it will download. Okay. That's the
Huh.
only point which I want to mention. Right? Yes.
Okay. So
Sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry, go ahead.
so I have one more query, right?
Mhm.
So previously I have learned the Spring. So while
Mhm.
working with the Spring through this Maven repository, while creating a Maven project, I didn't get that 4 folders like test, source, test, and resources like that. How can I get
You
that
have
one?
a Maven setup is wrong. You need to
Yeah.
make sure that Maven plugin and Maven setup both should be over there. Then only that project setup will come.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions? Anyone? You can raise a hand. Sweta, by default, MVC architecture is not part of the course, but I'm going to take an example and I will explain with one example. But MVC architecture is not part of the case. Spring is not part of this course. What I mentioned is whatever the knowledge you need to have for Spring knowledge to learn Spring Boot, that I'm going to cover. Spring MVC we are not going to use because ultimately we are going to connect with Angular or React or something like. No one will use Spring MVC in real time. Okay. JUnit test cases, by default, I'm going to use REST template. All REST cases, our REST template is the unit test cases for Spring Boot. JUnit is for normal Java testing. It is not for Spring Boot. Okay. So by default, what I'm trying to say is related to Spring Boot unit testing, JUnit is not there. Related to Spring Boot unit testing, we have a REST template that I'm going to cover. Okay. Go ahead. Sabyasachi Behura, go ahead.
Like my question is, so in the real time, I mean in industry, which unit testing they are using now?
We don't have any standards. Lot of people, lot of tools they will use. Some people will use JMarketo. Some people will use REST template. Some people will use JUnit. Some people will use uh, this one, Jesse framework. Some people will use uh, Node.js tools. Lot of tools are available. There is no predefined industry standard for unit test.
So like, are you going to teach any of these?
REST template. That's what I mentioned. Right. I'm going to go with
Rest-
REST template.
Okay, thank you.
Arvind, by default integration, I can teach either Angular or React, but not Angular course, not React course. Okay. So I'm going to cover, I'll create an Angular project or React project, and I will enter the data in the Angular or React screen, and the data will come to Spring Boot, the data will go to database. That integration I will teach. Okay. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to teach React course as well as Angular course. I want to be very, very clear here on expectation point of view. Okay. Only Angular course or React course, it will take 60 days to learn the front end. I'm not going to cover any front-end topics. Just I will showcase integration testing perspective, integration perspective. Okay. Yes. Okay, guys. I hope everyone is clear on this. Okay. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day. Thank you all.
Recording stopped.